you.
To change the success of your practice, you need to change the way that you practice. And that means, to some extent, some experimentation, some trial and error. There are some great men who've done great things, and they were not successful the first time they tried. Colonel Sanders took his recipe for fried chicken to 100 restaurants before he decided to open up his own. Steve Jobs was legendary in the formation of the prominence of Apple, yet the first time around when he worked for the company, he was fired. Fellow on the lower right, Fred Smith, was a student at the Wharton Business School at the University of Pennsylvania. And as his thesis project, he developed the idea of a hub-based delivery system where anything could be delivered anywhere in the country overnight. He failed that project. They told him it would never work. So he left the school and founded Federal Express. And Thomas Edison, perhaps the greatest inventor of the last 2 centuries, once said, "I have not failed 10,000 times. I have not failed once. I have succeeded in proving that those 10,000 ways will not work. When I have eliminated the ways that will not work, I will find the way that will." And that's the way we have to go into adopting change in our practices. Change is difficult. It's uncomfortable. But as we make changes, we will start to see our practices grow.
Beep, beep, bye, bye, bo, bo, bo. I smell smoke in the auditorium.
You all can dance. You know you want to. There we go. We have a couple dancers.
He's a clown, that Charlie Brown. He's gonna get down.
Yes, I'm not a very rhythmic dancer.
Why is everybody always picking on me?
Okay, so Charles Schultz, one of the greatest philosophers of our lifetime, right? If I were to ask you who were the last 3 Heisman Trophy winners, can you answer? Okay, the last 3 Nobel Prize winners. Nope. Okay. Last 3 Academy Award winners? Can any of you answer those questions? Probably not.
These are people who've accomplished great things in their respective fields, yet we can't think of who they are. You see, in time, awards tarnish, certificates fade, and applause dies out. But if we were to switch these questions, and I would ask you to name 3 teachers when you were in grade school who helped you get through difficult times when you were students. Or if I asked you to name 3 friends who helped you through a difficult time as you've been an adult. Or maybe just 3 people who you enjoy spending time with. Would that be easier? Can each of you come up with names under that situation? Well, the reason that you can have these names come up is because these are the people who show that they care. And I want you to develop a very caring feeling and a caring culture in your practices. I'm just going to take you back 1.5 to 2 years in my practice. We had a patient who had lost her son to a long bout with cancer. During that time, he was her only son, and he had a rare form of cancer that no insurance would pay for the experimental treatment. So she exhausted her life savings, she refinanced her house, but he passed away. And then only a couple of months after he passed away, Sandy hit her home and took it away with it. And she lost her cars as well. She had lost virtually everything. And then only a couple of weeks after she lost her home and her cars, her husband was diagnosed with cancer. And so we understand that you only have a certain number of opportunities in your life to truly make that difference in somebody else's life. So what we offered to do as a practice is we decided that we were going to pay her rent for a while until she could find someplace else to stay. And really, she had let her dental health go. She rarely came in except for an emergency. We didn't have the opportunity to treat her, and we told her that we were going to do a full mouth reconstruction for her at no charge. And we did this. It took almost a year to accomplish. If you put a value on it, it was probably close to $70,000 or $80,000 worth of dentistry. I can tell you that I have patients who pay a load of money for extensive dental treatment in my practice, but there wasn't a single appointment that I would look forward to more than when she came in because of the impact it would have on her life. And when we finished that treatment that day, we were all crying in the treatment room because the first thing she said she wanted to do was look up and smile at her son. And that's really what the rewards are and what the things that we're capable of doing in our practices and the differences that we can make in people's lives. And there's one individual who If we could have that picture up, thank you. Mitch Cutler was my best friend for 30 years. He was also my Henry Schein sales representative. And it's not rare that you develop that kind of a relationship based from that connection. But he also went through a 6-year battle with bone cancer. And despite that, he showed people how much he cared. Whenever he walked into a room during that period that he was in his fight, there was nobody in that room who had a bigger smile and who made it feel like they were going to be able to help you and do something for you. And then in his final days, he lived about 2 hours from my home, and I would try to drive up and see him a couple times a week when he was in the hospice in his home. And he called me one day and he said, "Steve, I'd like you to do me a favor, and I would like you to write my eulogy. Because I've scheduled my celebration of life service, and I'd like you to be the one that talks about me." And so I said, "Mitch, this is heavy. I have to come up to your house and we have to talk about this." And I went up there and I said, "Mitch, what is it that you'd like me to say?" And he said, "Well, I just want you to tell me how I affected you. What are the things that I did for you that you're going to remember about me?" And I left his house and I started driving home and I stopped to get lunch and I had my laptop with me, and all of a sudden I started pecking away at my keys, and in less than an hour I had this eulogy for him. So I went back to his house, I came in the back door, he was sleeping on his bed, so I sat there and I waited till he woke up. And he woke up and I said, "Mitch, I have it, I wrote it. Here's my laptop, why don't you read it?" He goes, "No, Steve, I want you to read it to me." And it was the greatest lesson I have had in my life, what he taught me in that exercise. Because he taught me that too often in life, we wait way too long to show appreciation to the people who care for us and who mean something to us. And we should take that to heart each and every day and make sure that we show appreciation and make sure that we care. So as you all leave here from Destin after these wonderful couple of days, I want you to make sure that you're hugging your spouses, hugging your boyfriends and girlfriends and your significant others. Make sure you show extra love to your children. And when you get back to the offices, if they're not here with you, show real appreciation to the team members who help to make you successful doctors, and to the team members who are affected by how each of you work cooperatively with the rest of your team. Because that's really what it's all about. That's why we came into dentistry in the first place. And always remember, you can get anything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want. Thank you for being such a wonderful